Evening all. I've just come back from the Muswell Hill 5-minute tournament where unbelievably I've just won it with 17 out of 17. It was an all-play all tournament. I just can't believe it. I've always usually dropped points at 5-minute. So let's go back to the ICC for one last game this evening, post-midnight session. I'm probably not going to be able to sleep tonight because I'm kind of excited by the tournament victory. I don't know, maybe it's exposing how I'm thinking and the blunders that you're pointing out. Maybe it's sharpened my blitz, but throughout the evening I was actually playing b4 as white and a6 as black, just to surprise people. Okay, got the board back. Let's have one last evening game. Might have to do...
started.
Oh, it sounds a bit loud. My hearing's more sensitive at night, so I'm probably going to speak this a bit more quietly than usual. So play bishop b2. I just found this a very effective opening for 5-minute chess earlier tonight. It's getting people out of their comfort zone, and you know, it's got a few ideas. So I think I might take that actually to try and weaken the dark square control of my opponent. Now here, do I play d4? I'm tempted because bishop d3 is a bit like a stone wall with the queen's bishop potentially useful. Well, on that diagonal.
Check.
Check. Okay. I think c3 might be playable. Okay, he's attacking my bishop. So what about queen c2? Queen c2. I think that bishop on a5 is looking a bit stranded, but he might be playing bishop a4 next. So okay, I'll let him play bishop a4. Maybe queen c1. Okay. Knight d2 here. If I can get him rook b1 just to protect that bishop. It's good that b4's covered here. Okay, now knight e5, and I've got this nice kind of, you know, bind with an attack on potentially h7, so his knight's kind of pinned down to be committed to staying on f6 at the moment. Can I bring the rook in to attack? So it's classic stonewall type attack. And one of my favourite books when I was a junior had about the stone wall system. I think it was by Leonard Barden. It was very nicely illustrated, and it had a section on playing the stone wall. It was a very big book with hardback cover, and it had about the rise of Nigel Short, Nigel Short chess prodigy. If I can play queen b1 and then maybe g4 and f5, but mind you, as soon as I play g4, then there's knight takes e5. So should I try and reroute my queen? Actually, queen d1. Okay, my queen side's about to fall apart now. So actually, have I got? Do I have to play knight takes c6 here? I think I do, to try and play a takes b. And actually, in this position, after a takes b, have I got queen a4, a tactic? Queen a4, just attacking the rook and attacking the bishop. Mind you, he can sort of create a discovered attack against my queen with rook c3, but then queen takes b4, rook takes d3. I'm not too convinced by that. So yeah, what about just knight b1? If I play knight b1 and the cheeky idea of just queen f2 and queen h4, so just trying to scramble my queen dramatically to the king side. And knight on b1, you know, I know it's seemingly pathetic, just defending c3, but I know queen f2 is the aggressive move which it's supporting. So now if I get in queen h4, okay, he was worried by that. So what about queen f3 though now? So I want to try and get in maybe g4 and f5. So it's a bit of a caveman type attack now, but at least I'm not on the receiving end like I have been on the last 3 games, it seems, on the ICC. No, or before the last few games, I seem to be on the receiving end of attack. So here at least I'm in the attacking seat. So if I can, okay, I expect something like rook b6 maybe attacking my b2 bishop, but maybe just I drop it back to a1, and it'll take time for black to further attack it. So potentially it's on that dangerous diagonal. So we're going to play knight d2 and e4. I'll be trying to rip open that diagonal. Okay, I think knight d2. So I'm holding up on these key squares at the moment, and you know, maybe so f5 is actually a dangerous threat here, trying to break open black's pawn structure. Threat maybe g5 and f6, winning a piece. So I'm quite pleased with the position at the moment, because there's also this latent diagonal. If I get in f5 though, he gets a dark square blockade, but then fe, I think that might be more significant than giving up the dark squares here. So balance, because that f-file attack is really vicious. As soon as my queen lands on f7, it's going to be mate on h7. So my opponent's also in time pressure here. So this definitely is like opening up some lines. Now maybe rook takes h7 is an interesting move. So fg, king g7, queen h5, knight h6. How does the attack progress? Is there a simpler way of playing this? Maybe just takes, bishop takes g6. Interesting. There's nothing to attack on the queen side at the same time with queen g3. I could just fg, hg, queen f4, g5 looks dire actually because of queen f5. But h6 is already protected. So how best to carry on this attack? Do I just sack a whole rook? But I think knight h6 would be a useful blockade. So what about actually just trying to open up this diagonal and leave black to play g5? I don't think so. I think opening lines in principle with fg seems logical, because now I can put further pressure with rook g3. If I provoke g5, then e4, and I'll try and get this bishop working on diagonal to threaten rook takes g5. I think that's an interesting idea, just to try and soften the black king up here. Okay, now e4, so I'm trying to get some pressure going on that f6 through this bishop. If I can liberate this bishop, that would be great strategically, bringing in some more resources into the attack. On the other hand, he's got a strong blockade here on the c4 square if he took on e4. So do I want to take with the queen to allow myself to be able to play c4? I think I'll try that. c4 and d5. So I don't want to lift this blockade, these hanging pawns, without losing the rook here. So maybe rook f3. Okay. So queen g4 is a potential check if he's going to decoy my queen. Okay. But now I'm threatening, potentially c5 and d5, but I've got to, I suppose, factor in bishop c5 check. But I'll play this d5 now to try and get this bishop finally in the game. Although, am I messing this up because of rook e1? I hope not. Or rook e2, and I'm vulnerable on. Okay. Actually, queen takes a6. No, I think queen f5 is interesting as well. Queen takes a6 may be interesting, but queen takes d5. I don't want to leave my queen off centre. So perhaps actually just queen f5 here. And it's only a minute each now, so I think I've got to speed up. And I think my back row is potentially weak here. I've got to be very careful. No, actually, queen takes, rook takes, and I don't have to worry about rook exchange. Actually, because rook takes f3, queen takes d7. So maybe I can start to play this for this c4, as I visualised way back to try and liberate this bishop. Is it all going to be worth it? Or alright, so c4 here. So am I potentially threatening rook f6, or is it harmless? He's got rook e1 or rook e2. Okay. Alright, knight b3 maybe. Knight b3. But then bishop d6. Oh dear. Okay, so rook f2. So I'm having to defend a bit here. And I should really be speeding up, but I feel a bit tired because I have played 17 games earlier, and I'm lucky my bishop's not in it's protected by the knight. Okay, I'll just try and hold things up here. Maybe c5. In fact, is actually rook b2 is interesting. So keeping control of the 7th rank. And if I can play d6, then some of my problems will be resolved because I'm shutting out that bishop. I've also got knight a5 now. Oh, about the rook. Okay, not quite. Rook a2 first to protect the bishop. Then knight a5 to c6 is still a reasonable idea. He's only got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2.
Black forfeits on time.
Oh, blimey. Okay, I think that's it for the day. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.